Okay. So the reason why we didn't, let me share my screen and I'll show you.
Okay,
Let's,
let me stop sharing.
no, it's fine. Okay.
Okay, stop sharing. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, just a second. I'm trying to find the project reference architecture. It's this one. Yeah. So, um, this is the project reference architecture, right? So when we installed WordPress for the first time, we had one server here, right? So if you notice, you are asking, this is the auto scaling group that is launching our servers. But the first time we were installing WordPress, we just manually created our server here, right?
Yes.
Then we SSH into it and installed WordPress on it. You also
Yes.
understand that in this project, we are using Elastic file system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. So one of the things we did when we were installing WordPress on this server we manually launched is that we mounted this server to the HTML directory. We mounted the HTML directory of our server, right,
Mm-hmm.
to the Elastic file system. You understand?
Okay.
So that
Yes.
would be, let me get that comment. Just a second. Okay. So that's what I was explaining, right? When this is the command that we use to install WordPress, right?
Yes.
We created an HTML directory here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we mounted the HTML directory to our Elastic file system.
Yes.
Okay. So what that means is once you mount it to the Elastic file system, any other commands you run, any of the commands you are running to install WordPress is going to install the application code for WordPress on the Elastic file system.
Okay.
So the application code, the WP config file, you know that the WP config file is where we entered our RDS information, right? Right.
Yes.
So that is part of the application code. So anything that goes in your HTML directory would not be on this EC2 instance EBS block store. It would be in the file system because we mounted our HTML directory to the Elastic file system. You understand that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So once we are done installing website, that means that our application code is here.
Okay. Okay. I see.
So now when we terminate this EC2 instance, right?
Mhm. Yes.
And we are using the auto scaling group to launch our server so that our website can be dynamic, right?
Mm-hmm.
In our launch template, all we have to do is specify setting configuration. So let's just take this EC2 that auto scaling group will launch. So now when auto scaling group launch this new EC2 instance, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Remember I told you guys that for any applications that you guys are trying to install, those applications will have dependencies. Like, for example, when you are in that project, I explained that when you are trying to run WordPress, WordPress requires that your server has PHP, MySQL, and Apache, right?
Yes.
So when we are launching this new EC2 instance,
Yes.
we are not installing WordPress on it. We are only installing the dependencies that it needs. So we'll install PHP, we'll install Apache
Yes.
and MySQL, right?
Yes.
So once we install those dependencies on that EC2 instance, we will mount that EC2 instance to the Elastic file system. So that is how whatever you've already set up for your WordPress, it will just pick it up and continue to use it for you.
Okay, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why when you look in the command,
Okay.
that's why when you look in this command, right, you
Mm-hmm.
can see that here we are updating the EC2 instance. We installed Apache. Remember, I said the
Yeah. Yeah.
dependencies Apache. We
Mm-hmm.
installed, let me get out of this thing. So we installed Apache, MySQL, Apache, PHP, and MySQL. And
Yes.
we mounted it to the EFS.
Okay.
Because the
Okay.
application code is already in the EFS, everything is
Yes.
already configured. So you don't need to do all that stuff anymore.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So, if you want to do the do the same project with Terraform. So, is it going to be same process? Because in the Terraform, you are not going to be able to des to terminate your launch instance, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that is a good question. So if you want to do the same project with Terraform, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what you can do, there are several ways to solve it. Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a little bit, you might have to do a little bit automation in between. Because
Okay.
the first time you have to install WordPress and move all your code to the HTML directory, which would be on the Elastic file system,
Mm-hmm.
right? WordPress requires some manual things. Like when you are configuring your site, right? You have to access it and set it up, right?
Yes.
So, so
Okay.
there's like some manual things you have to do there.
Yes.
So you can, like in the state that your WordPress is in now, you can, if I was doing it with Terraform, right?
Yes.
I probably won't, the installation part is not really necessary to automate that with Terraform. So, because if you try to automate it with Terraform, you would probably need to add additional things in there. Because yes, the first server you used to install it, you would have to terminate it, then pull your application code for your auto scaling group in the next one in the EFS. So what I would do is either you leave your EFS there, then when you use Terraform to complete the project, you just do it the same way we're doing it here. In the launch template of your Terraform code, you have it run this command,
Yeah.
and this would launch the EC2 instance for you and mount it to your EFS you already have available that has
Okay.
your WordPress application code in it.
Okay. Yeah.
Or another thing you can do is, this is what I did when I launched this project a long time ago, especially when I was looking for work then, because I didn't leave everything on. So if you don't want to leave your Elastic file system up, you can download your application code for WordPress, right? You can download it because when you go in the HTML directory, right,
Mm-hmm.
all the codes are there. You can run the copy command. You can copy the code from your HTML directory to an S3 bucket. So all that code will go in your S3 bucket, and when you want to launch WordPress again, you just download them from the S3 bucket. The same way we did it for like the rent zone project or like the fleet card project.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is if you don't want to go the using Terraform to install WordPress route.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, and I was actually thinking about us working on that project, the WordPress project using Terraform. So,
Okay. Yeah.
if time permits, we can, no, well, not today, but in our coming class, if we have time and I don't have to troubleshoot with anyone, we can start like a Terraform project where we'll deploy the WordPress um, website using Terraform.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah. My second question is about troubleshooting cloud formation stack that we have on Canvas. I'll try to use it to launch uh, VPC and yeah, VPC, but it's failing. So I'm not sure we can, if you can try to help me today or not.
Okay. I'll stop sharing.
Okay. Let me see. Share. Okay. Yeah, this is when I ran it, this is what came up.
Can you you have to delete all the other ones you have that are failing. Okay,
Okay.
okay, but fine, good. Yeah. So the main thing is pay attention to those um the type of EC2 instance that I'm using in the project. So if it is
This is-
if it is Amazon Linux 2, use Amazon Linux 2. And if it is 2023, use 2023. Eventually all the projects will be updated to 2023. So I'm working on the dynamic one now.
So since I didn't change anything in the uh, template, so do I need to update
Mm.
the
No, there's something in your
excuse me.
delete your stacks that are failing. Delete those ones. Hello, John Wick. How are you? All right. So even on that one you have selected now, just scroll down on it. Let me see something in there. Yes. All right, over there. So you can see it is failing your on your elastic IP, I believe. So right there it says fail to. So how many elastic IP do you have in your account? You don't have anyone, right? Right. So well, that was the last one, right? This was the last one. So it makes sense that that will fail because remember you had like 5 stacks that was failing or something like that. So
Yes.
this is the last one of the 5. So when you ran all those 5 ones, right? Those
Mm.
ones probably created the elastic IP, but you kept launching new ones, and is pretty much going to try to create the same resources that the other stack already created. So you may have pretty much allocated up to 5 Elastic IP with all the stacks you had. Even though it failed, it created some resources in your account. You understand? So
Yeah.
if a stack fail, you have to just delete it, because whatever resources it created, if we don't put that information, I think we probably put that information to leave it there, so it is going to leave it there. So I think that is why that one is failing. The only other reason why this would probably fail is let's delete your default VPC and recreate it. So sometimes if your default VPC is not set up properly,
Yeah.
your stack
Okay.
might fail.
Let's see. Dealing. Um,
Yeah, just type delete default VPC and click acknowledge then. Okay, I guess it won't. Yeah, just click delete. All right, and recreate it again.
um,
Just click under actions,
okay. And create the
create the
file.
folder. All right, so go back to CloudFormation and launch your stack.
Okay. Do I need to delete this or I don't have to?
Those are for your EKS project. So it looks
Yes.
like you were working on it. You would have to delete the EKS. Did you delete your uh, cluster and other stuff in EKS itself? Because when you
Yes.
create things in EKS, AWS typically use CloudFormation to create them. So you have to delete your cluster in EKS, and this CloudFormation stack will be deleted for you. So anything you guys create in the service and AWS use CloudFormation to create it, it is best to delete it from the service rather than doing it from the cluster. Rather than doing it from CloudFormation. So I'm not sure. So that is not well, it looks like your cluster is deleted.
Yeah.
So as long as that CloudFormation is not connected to a service that is running in your account, then you can delete it. I think maybe that was something you named something. So let me say it again.
Okay. Yeah, this was in January. Yeah, it's something I was playing with before your
Yeah,
project.
I'm not sure how you created it, so you can probably delete it.
Yeah. Um, that should be good.
Go into it, you'll be able to see whether it's been deleted or not. Yeah, select it and select events. Okay,
Creation.
click delete. It says deleting it. It says delete in progress.
Okay, yeah.
Refresh. You might probably have to refresh your page to see.
Excuse me.
There you
Okay. So now I'm just going to create the new one. Okay.
go.
So use templates. I'm going to get internal. Let me see.
Okay, click next.
Create dev stack. Okay.
All right, so wait, over here, are you? No, it's fine. Scroll down. I probably need to even remove. So that SSH location, that is just your IP address if you are going to.
Okay.
So that's just your own IP address. You remember when we create the security groups to SSH into our EC2 instance and we limit it to our IP address. So that's what that means. So
Okay.
in this one, you're not going to SSH into it anyway, but I just left it in there. But I think in the updated one I did, I removed it. So for that SSH location, you can just put 0.0 or you can leave that because you won't have to SSH using your key pair. So you won't need that. On this template, the EC2 instance connect endpoint is on it too. So that's the one we will use. Or you can leave it on that IP address, the one I had there before. So that way you don't just put it on 0.0. So press Control Z, Control
Oh,
Z.
it
It should,
work. Oh, okay. Cool.
all right. So are you keeping the same name for your RDS and stuff? So make sure you remember the name that you are. And if you don't want to keep updating the name here, you can just go update it on your template. So that way, when you launch your template, whatever your database name, whatever you want the database name to be, will be populated here. You understand?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll keep it like this for now.
Okay, cool. Then everything else here stays the same. So this is just the value for the VPC and the RDS. So click next. And you understand that what you did there is equivalent to in Terraform when you create variables and you add some default values to the variable. You
Okay.
understand, right? You know,
Yes.
in Terraform, when we create our variable, we can put some default values there that we
Mm-hmm.
want to use, right?
Yes.
In CloudFormation, this is how you do it. They are called
Oh,
parameters. So you create your parameters and you can put some default values in there. These are those default values that you can change.
okay.
Yeah.
So next. And here, there is nothing to update
So
here.
here, right, when your stack fails, under
Mm-hmm.
that stack fail options,
Mm-hmm.
for the behavior, we can say preserve successfully provisioned resources. So that way, if anything fails, it will leave whatever it already created. So that way we can troubleshoot it and see what it was trying to create when it failed.
Oh,
CloudFormation does not really do a good job when it helps you troubleshoot.
yeah.
Sometimes it will give you a good enough information. Sometimes it's generic, but we'll see. So I always leave that on. If I think my stack is going to fail, I always
Mm-hmm.
just check that one. Then scroll down and click next.
Okay.
And scroll down and create it.
Let me go to my PC to see. Okay. Create this. Subnet. If you've done before the VPC. Okay, it's create a subnet. Yeah, I think it's working.
Yeah, so go refresh and you'll see okay.
Okay.
So it's creating all the resources in it. It would work and
Okay.
because I use it all the time and it works. So
Okay.
sometimes,
Something felt here.
okay, so
Okay.
that one is your database subnet group, right? So that
Yes.
could also be the reason why it was
Oh,
failing when you were launching it before,
okay.
because
It's existent. Okay.
there's a database subnet group in your account now that has the same name as the one you are trying to create with CloudFormation. So you have to delete the one that is there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think subnet.
You
Yeah.
probably won't be able to delete it because you have an RDS running in it. So you have to delete the RDS because I noticed you have another VPC and maybe
Yeah.
you have a project in that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think since it's
So
working.
just open the template and we'll just change the name of the database subnet so that way you can avoid that.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. It's open on my other screen. I'm trying to break it there. Just a second.
Okay.
It's not coming. Okay, here you go.
All right. So that would be scroll down. Scroll down. So we probably didn't create it as a parameter. So go down to the RDS resources.
Yes, resource.
Yeah, under RDS resource. So go down there. So these are the resources. Keep going down to the RDS, and we probably are. I'm sure it is there. But probably be the last one right there. No, that's the security. Keep going down. Sorry,
Okay,
right
RDS
here.
resource.
So the first one is just database subnet groups, right? So you can see on line 478, right?
Yeah,
Just call it database subnet 2 or something, or dev database subnet.
yeah,
Add
okay.
dev in the beginning. Yeah. So
Okay,
that will make the name different.
yeah, that's me.
And save it.
Yeah, I want to change the
Okay.
database name and
Okay. All right.
password. I think I saw it at the top, right?
It's in the beginning under the parameters. Yeah. So scroll up. Right here.
Uh-huh. Okay,
That will be your default value.
okay. No,
And you're
uh,
leaving your RDS instance name the same or you changing it?
what is it?
Scroll up.
RDS.
I think, no, you can leave that one. That one is fine. That's your database name.
Yeah, I think inside
So they
somewhere.
want that one on line
Okay.
93. I mean, you can leave, oh, you already have one in there that is the same name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Maybe
All
let
right,
us.
save it. Okay, I'll save it.
What is this? It's why It's here. I can't find where to save it. Let's see.
Just type command control S on your keyboard. It should save it for you.
Okay. Okay, now let me this. Okay, now do I need to launch it again?
I
How
haven't
do
done, I usually always delete it, but try to update it. Click update
okay, okay.
and replace current template. No, the second option.
Oh, replace current template. Okay, up information. Mm,
Now scroll up, let me see.
yeah, the name.
So it still has your
Yeah,
uh
maybe it
let's
was not saved.
no, it's saved. Just delete it. I'll just delete that stack.
Okay. Um,
It might pick it up, but I'll play around with it after and I'll let you know. It might pick it up, but I usually just delete it so I don't run into any issues. Then
okay.
and just
Oh,
create a
okay.
new stack. Yeah. Uh, upload. Yeah, upload in template. You have to give it a different stack name because the other stack that you just created will still be there. So
Okay. Yeah, this is different. Um, okay. Audience. Okay. Okay.
okay.
It says subnet database already.
No,
I
scroll
thought I
up. No, scroll up.
I thought I thought I
Refresh your page. I don't think it's failing.
did.
Okay, that one failed. Subnet database, subnet group already exists. Let's see. No, go back to your CloudFormation stack and scroll up there.
Mm,
No, don't scroll up. You're scrolling down. Scroll up. No, scroll all the way up and click on your templates tab.
templates. This one.
Mhm. Scroll down in here, go to where you have the database subnet.
It should be at the bottom, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I should change the name here. That name, right?
Oh yeah. So the ones you change, yes, the one you change is the tag, not the name. That is
Okay.
that is the actual name. So that's
Okay.
the one you were supposed to change. Well, you were supposed to change both. So that is
Okay.
the name and that is the tag. Yeah, that's why it's failing.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, let me bring it here so that everybody can. Baba. 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 Okay. Baba. The name should be
Line
Okay,
472.
and let me just copy this to just make it busy. Okay, so I'm just going to do, let me see, save, no. Control S, okay. And introduce this one. Okay, I'm going to delete this one and create another one. Let me refresh my screen to see this. Okay. Upload template. Then there's okay. Yeah, I think it's created this time.
Yeah. So that was just, yes, I missed it the first time too.
Yeah.
Because I was thought the one you changed was where we were populating the name. Yeah, but it will create it. So that was the issue,
Okay.
is just because you had the same name.
Okay.
Um, let it
Yeah.
run. We'll just
Yeah.
make sure everything is created, then you can use it to
Troubleshoot.
pretty much troubleshoot whatever
Yeah.
issues you are facing with your project.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I'll stop so that if anyone else has a question, they can go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Mm.
All right. Does anyone else need help troubleshooting something? Okay. Or if you have any question. So if you guys don't have a question, I have something for you guys. Let's work on this. I'm not going to explain it, so you guys have to explain it. But if no one wants to explain it, then you can think about it. Then maybe when we have next class, I'll ask the same question until someone is ready to explain it.
Aziz, I have question, but uh,
Okay, go ahead. No, ask your question. That's fine.
um, let me quickly share my screen very quick. So let me send you this question very quick. So,
Are you typing it to me?
yeah, I already typed it somewhere, but I can't find it. Let's see. Okay, this is it. Okay. So, send it to you. Yeah, I've sent it to your Slack.
Okay. Okay. This has to perform scope stop, start, describe, and delete key pair for a specific EC2 instance. Okay. All right. So the question is, how do you create a key pair? I mean,
Create a rule or policy.
yeah. So the question is, how do you create a policy that allows a user to um you said it says start, stop,
Yeah,
describe, and delete key pair for an EC2 instance.
yeah.
All right. So everything is done in so anytime you guys are trying to create a policy, AWS makes it easy for you to be able to create it. So am I sharing my screen?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm not sure if are you guys seeing my screen? Am I sharing my screen
Not
now?
yet.
All right. All right. So if you want to create any policy to do anything in AWS, so the question here is how to you you need a policy that allows a user to be able to what was it again? Let me look at your thing. So perform stop, start, describe, and delete key pair for a specific EC2 instance. So here you create policies in IAM. So I'm just going to go to IAM and select IAM under services. Here I'm going to click policies and create my policy by clicking create policy here. What service am I creating the policy for? Under services, I'm going to select EC2 here. If EC2 wasn't there, you can look for it. So that is going to create this. Then the next thing is, what actions do you want to allow? So for the actions, right, all the things you can do with the EC2 instance are here. So there's list, there's read, there's write, there is permissions management, and there's tagging. So I really like this by AWS because it allows you to easily create a policy. So if you want to allow is here. And if you want to deny is here.
So Aziz, how will you know if it's allow or deny?
Based on it is telling you that if it is telling you that it wants the user to be able to do something. So that means you are trying to allow the user to do something.
So when you allow, because the question says start, stop, then delete. Delete should be, I think that's my own thinking, is that delete should be deny.
No.
Okay. Okay.
So I understand what you're saying, and that's good, right? But okay, what about if I say I don't want this user to be able to delete something, delete my EC2 instance?
Yeah, you are denying the user.
All right, so that would be denied. So what if I said I want this user to be able to delete an EC2 instance?
To be able to delete, and that you are allowing the user.
Exactly. You understand now?
Yeah.
You understand? I just said two things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So,
Right.
okay.
So
Okay.
I said okay, you are a user in my account, and I don't want you to delete an EC2 instance. So what am I doing?
That's, you are denying me.
I'm denying you, right? But you are also a user in my account, and I want you to be able to delete an EC2 instance.
Allow.
Exactly. So that's how you think about it. I get what you are thinking
Yeah.
about, which is very good. You are thinking about the specific actions that's going on, like the specific things that you are doing, but that is not how you specify the deny or allow. It just means what it means. Like, do you want to allow this person to do something, or do you want to deny this person to do something? So in this case, we are allowing them to be able to stop an EC2 instance, start an EC2 instance, describe and delete key pair. So that is that. So we'll leave the effect on allow.
This is where I got confused.
Yeah. So we'll leave the effect on allow. Then under access, I really don't know where this falls in list in all this. So what I always do is I'm just going to, so we can see the describe, right? I think this is saying describe key pair. These are in alphabetical order. So if I look under list here, it is showing describes. So I'm just going to look for describe key pair. You can see it here. These are in alphabetical order. So this is one of the policy they want, right? So I'm just going to check it. The next one is delete. So I'm going to see if there's delete here. So there is no delete here under this one, right? So I only see describe. Does it go to the next page? I think this is
You can
all,
just
right?
search for it over there. You can just search delete to see if
Yeah.
it come.
Yeah, I can. So yeah, if you want to search for a specific thing here, but sometimes I don't know. Let me see. Delete. Okay. So here, delete, but I don't know if it's going to be called delete EC2. So let me just see here. So they have some delete here. So these are also in alphabetical order. So it should delete instance. So it should probably be delete event. This is event windows. So the delete does says delete key pair. So that is what they ask you here. Delete key pair, not delete instance. Because we don't, in AWS, they probably don't they didn't name it as delete instance. It would be stop or terminate. So delete key pair. So your question says describe key pair and delete key pair. So this is the second one. Then the third one is stop instance. So yeah, it's probably better to just type it here. Stop. Okay, there you go. Stop instances. That's the third one. Your stuff did say for a specific instance. So once you select the stop instance policy, here is where you can tell it to stop all the EC2 instance in your AWS account. If you are trying to allow them to be able to stop all the EC2 instance in your AWS account, or if you are trying to limit them to a specific instance. I don't have any EC2 instance running now, so I'm just going to create one real quick. So going to launch, call it test. And I'm just going to, let's say without a key pair, launch my instance. Right. So I'll launch the EC2 instance and this here. I wait for it to change to running. Okay. So now in my policy, if I click on specific, right? These are the different ways you can restrict it to a specific EC2 instance. So here it is saying instance. So I don't understand what that means. Is that the name? So if you click on info, it will tell you it represents the Amazon EC2 instance that is a virtual server in the cloud. Okay. So what is this asking? The ARN. So here it is asking for the ARN. So you just click add ARN, right? And another thing I really like about what AWS is doing here is if you don't know where to find the ARN, you can build it by first specifying the region the EC2 instance is created in and the instance, or you can just go find the ARN. So basically pay attention here. Whatever you type here, right, you can see AWS is updating it here because that is how AWS built the ARN. So if I type US East 1, you can see AWS is building that here. And I believe probably here is the instance ID. What I'll just go do is go to the EC2 instance, select it here, look for the ARN. Where is it? Did I pass it? Let's see that. So that's kind of even weird that I haven't, typically for EC2 instance, I haven't really used that ARN before. So since even if I don't know where to get it, that is where this other option comes in. You can see my EC2 instance is in the Northern Virginia region, which is US East 1. So I'm not even going to waste my time there. So I've put US East 1 here. That is the region. And resource instance, this is what I don't. So I can say any instance here, it will put that thing there. But if I want to limit it to that EC2 instance, let me just look it up. So example, ARN. So I'm not sure if the last part is the instance ID or
Hello, this.
it is
You
the
just put the instance ID there.
yeah. So I wanted to make sure whether it's the instance ID or the instance name. So you can see here is and sometimes the reason why I'm doing it this way is because sometimes you won't know it, but part of your skills as a cloud engineer, and I think this is a skill that is underrated and everyone always overlook, is finding the documentation to tell you exactly what you are looking for. So in these cases, I've never used the ARN of an EC2 instance before. So I wasn't sure if here you put the ID or if it's the instance name. So you can see in this, here some examples of ARN for EC2 instance is the ID. So that means here, I just have to go and copy the ID of my EC2 instance, which is here. And I'm going to paste it here. And that is how you create the ARN. Then you click add ARN. So it has done that there. Key pair, right? This is the key pair you want to allow the user to be able to use. You do the same thing. Add ARN of that key pair. You can specify the region, US, East. Let me just even, yeah, key pairs are per region. So it will be US, East, 1. That's my region and the name of my key pair. So I can go in my console, select key pairs in the EC2 here. So I just pick any key pair that I have here as an example. So let me pick this one. And again, sometimes, see, that's why sometimes when you look at some of these resources, the ARN may not be right in front of you like some of the other resources that already have the ARN. So that's a good thing about using that. So I'm just going to copy the name of my key pair since I know that is what AWS is expecting. I'm going to copy that name and it says resource key pair name. I'm going to paste it here. And it would create the ARN for you. Then you click add ARN. And that's pretty much, so we've done, let me just check because I forgot where we are now. So we've done I think we've done everything. So we have our instance and key pair. If you also want to be sure, if you look at the JSON format of it, right, you can see our statement. We have the actions, EC2 instance, stop instance, and delete key pair, right? But I think I need the one for the start EC2 instance. So I can go back to the visualization here. And here I'm going to select this drop down. So here I'm going to type start. Start instances right here, right? See this one. Yeah, so this is the one I did for the key pair. So I'm not sure what this license configuration means. Represents the license configuration. I'm not sure what this means. And I don't think we have one. So I'm just going to click this any in this account, right? So it is not something I created and I'm just going to use whatever the default is in my account. And that is pretty much it. So if you come back to your JSON again, we've added the policy to start an EC2 instance, stop an EC2 instance, delete a key pair. So there's also one more that describe the key pair. You can see that one here. So for the describe key pair, right now we have it on all. I'm going to go back to the visualization. I think that is this one here. Describe, yeah. That is this one. But there's probably not anything that is limiting it to a specific thing, a specific key pair in your account. So for that one, that's probably why we don't have the same option. So all of it are here. This is your policy. And that's pretty much how you create a policy. So once you are here, you just click next. I don't like that when you move away from that screen, it will minimize it for you. But sometimes it gets confusing. So I'm just going to name it here. I call it best EC2 policy. I'm not going to enter a description. And under the here, this is the service that we use it, right? And we're just going to click create policy. We have successfully created our policy. If I view it, and yeah, this is the permission. If you want to see the JSON format of it, this is what it looks like. So we have two actions here. We have the actions here, EC2 instance, start instance, stop instance, delete key pair, and here we have the describe. So that's pretty much how you do it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So you guys see, even sometimes when I work on something, I'm always trying to tell you guys, it is not like certain things you would know and you'll be able to just do it. But sometimes it is referencing documentation, trying to understand what they're asking you to do and making sure you are using all the right resources to do it. So that's pretty much how it is as a cloud engineer. It's not everything when they give you, you just are able to do it from beginning to end. Sometimes it takes time. It takes you researching and also doing your research and making sure you understand what you are trying to do. So there is getting the work done. There is also you trying to teach yourself the process to get the work done. So that way, if you have to do the same thing in the future, you understand how to do it. So that is it.
One more thing as it's placed before you.
Yeah, sure.
Can I share my screen?
Okay.
Mm. My ECS service is cutting off each time I try to create a new one. So I've tried several times. I don't know what is actually wrong with it. So I don't know if we can.
All right. It's saying the cloud formation is failing, so you have to go to the cloud formation thing and see what's going on there. So you have some cloud formation stacks here that are failing. You have to delete them.
Yes, ones.
So close the cloud formation thing, that the cloud formation information on the left side. And you can drag that screen to the right, to the left a little bit. So the two lines in the middle, you can use it to drag it. So bring your mouse under those two lines in the middle. Yeah, that one. And you can drag it there. All right. So those are the stacks that are failing are on the left.
These ones.
Yes. Scroll down. No, on the left. Yeah, you have to. Okay. So delete all of them one at a time. So it's the first one is selected. You have to scroll up. Delete.
Do I delete this one as well?
Yes, delete all of them. You are deleting that one. You have to select the next one. Right.
Do I delete the rest?
They are deleting. So you say where it says delete in progress.
Oh.
So just refresh your page. Okay. And they are all deleted. So refresh your page. So you probably just have to leave there. So go back to your cluster, click your cluster over there. So just refresh your page. Uh, it usually don't take long to create. And there you go. It's done.
The task then, right?
Hmm?
I have to create a task second before I can create a service.
Yes, you already have a tax definition because once you create one, it doesn't delete it. It will just keep it there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's okay. It should be right. So let's create.
Well, you have to go into your ECS service and see if it is running. So it's right there. Just scroll down. No, not in CloudFormation. So it's in the service. Scroll down and refresh your page, and you should be able to see.
Oh, straight there. Okay.
Yeah, the service is there, so you can select it, and the next thing is just checking whether your application is deploying on it.
Set to fill. You're completed.
You have to check on under the scroll up under the deployments tab. You have to check why your ECS service is failing. You can select the tax name. That's the one with the long number and the go back. So deployment.
You mean this one?
Yes, one of the long numbers. That one. So it's saying fail to download your env file. You have to make sure that all the things that it needs are there.
Yeah, the A and B. Okay.
So the env file, we put it in the S3 bucket, and we put it in the S3 bucket, and that's where ECS needs to download it from.
Yes,
So you have to make sure that those files are there.
just here.
So that this is not the bucket. This is the bucket for the SQL script.
This is funny.
Right. Then you have to check your ECS tax definition if you have you are referencing the right bucket for your environment variable. So go to your ECS service and select tax definition. Select the JSON for your tax definition. Is that go and copy the ARN of your S3 bucket. The ARN of your S3 bucket with the file in it, and search for it here and see if it is matching. Okay, that one. Control F, Control V. All right. So the next thing you have to check is your role, your ECS tax execution role. So go back to your tax definition. No, you can find it on your tax definition. No, go back up. No, let's go scroll all the way up. No, scroll up. You're scrolling down. Scroll all the way up to the top of your tax definition and tax execution rule. Yeah, click it. Your role doesn't have any permission. It doesn't look like it. There's no policy attached to your role. So you have to watch the lecture where we created the ECS tax execution rule.
And that means I attached the wrong one then. Is there any way I can attach another one and delete this one right away?
Which one are you trying to attach?
There's one I created over there previously.
You can go and update your tax definition and attach the row you want to attach. So click on create new revision, select it. Yeah, select that. No, you have to select the tax definition. Yeah. Create new revision. And you have to now go in your ECS service and create a new tax. So you have to pretty much update that service.
ECS service. Okay.
No, that's the cluster. Update your tax definition. At the top, check first new deployment, then update the revision for your tax definition. It's right there.
Yes.
So on that family, the revision, just click in there and select your next revision. You'll see it in there once you click in that box where it says revision.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Yeah. 2, right?
yes.
3, 4.
You have to refresh your page. That was the last one that was created. You have to refresh. And scroll up. Yeah, under the health and metrics, that's where you will see the current state of your service. Health and metrics tab, the first one.
Progress.
Refresh.
To complete.
For instance, that your targets are failing, so you have to go in your deployments tab again, check your tags and see why they are failing. Not that one. You have to select one that has already stopped. Then it will tell you, or you can click on the logs and see this one is just coming up, it's pending. So it hasn't failed yet. So press back on your and select another task, the one that has stopped.
How do I know which one is stopping?
So if you look over there, if you under the stuff, it will tell you, right? So you can see there it start.
Hit on 80.
Right. So just refresh there in that, yes, that one. So you can see over there, it's telling you that service has been stopped. The first one.
This one.
No, on the first line, it's saying service has stopped.
It does fail at elastic load balancer at check.
So you have to go to your load balancer, see if whatever the target group is saying and why it is failing. So it could be an issue. So I'm not sure where the issue is coming from. It might be how you built your Docker image. It might be. So you just have to go through the steps in the video and pretty much what I'm saying is, and how really, this is the point where everyone always learn. Even when I was learning, this is the point. Is at this point that I learned a lot. Because when you are working on a project for the first time, you are expected to make mistakes and you are expected to have error. I mean, I know the video, everything there works. So if your tax is failing for some reason, right, it's because of you've probably misconfigured something along the way. And how you would learn a lot is how when you try to pinpoint where you made the mistake. Sometimes it might be just restarting the project over and just following it. Because even me at this stage, I still do that. So I can't really pinpoint where, because it's telling you it's failing the health check. So if you go to your load balancers target group, so under target group, that's where you will see the health status, why it is failing. So to select the target group, you have to select it to go into it. So the status detail, health status detail, that is where it is telling you why it is failing. It is down there.
Yeah.
The title up there, you have to drag it to the side and see why it is failing. The health status, under health status, bring your mouse down. Up there, bring your mouse to it's the title of where you are now, the table you are looking at, the title of the table, the title of the rows. You say where it says IP address, port, zone, health status details.
Yeah, address. Yeah.
Yeah, the one right next to it. You have to drag that out and to see why it is failing. So 500 has to do with misconfiguration on your server. So it could be, typically when I've seen other people make mistake in this project is, did you make sure that you migrate your data into the RDS database?
Yeah.
Make sure that your credentials for your database is properly built with your Docker file. So those are the things you have to check.
Okay.
So that is probably where the issue is coming from.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and you can send a copy of your Docker file to me. I can help you look at it. But this 500 just means that your ECS part is working. There's nothing wrong with ECS now. It's just that whatever you've configured on your container does not work. So it could be in your Docker image. It could be in your Docker image. Most likely, it has to do with probably your database credentials.
Okay. I'll send them to me. Okay. Let me give other people a chance to.
All right. So does anyone else have any questions? But we can't really. So if you guys don't have any questions,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes, I have a
Kajobi,
question.
go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So, my question is about the job market, right? So, from what I've been hearing, it's difficult to get a job as a fresher in cloud and DevOps field. So, how do we make our resume as a fresher? Like, if you want to get a job as a cloud engineer or DevOps engineer, because if you have not worked in IT field, so you have not worked with any company, so how do you make your resume to kind of attract good?
Um, I see people getting jobs all the time. I just had someone that just got a job from being a nurse to transitioning and just getting a job. So there's someone else that's going through his last round of interview now. There are jobs. It's just the main thing is look at the company's requirement. What are they looking for? If they are requiring you to have 5, 10 years of experience, right? That is not a job you should apply to because that is just their requirements. And at the same time, there are some companies that only have like 2 years of experience required, 3 years of experience required. Those type of job, if you apply to them, there's a good chance you will get an opportunity um, if you are able to showcase that you can do the work. So there isn't really like a way to there's ways you can create your resume to give you the best chance to be noticed. And really, it only goes, you do your resume, a recruiter says your resume, they like it, and they are able to get you into an interview. Really, once you are in an interview, it's not really about, at that point, it's about what you know. So if you are able to answer their questions, prove to them that you have the skill set, you'll get the job. So with the whole being a fresher, that I feel like that only affects you to get noticed by the recruiter. But once you are in the interview, they only care about how you will respond to the question and how you conduct yourself. And if you appear to them that you are someone that is competent. So you can learn the skills. The skills is the skills. Whether you have 10 years experience in something or you have 1 year experience, the skills is the skills. If you know it, you know it. There are certain cloud things that didn't exist 10 years ago. So someone that's working in the IT field that is not updating their skills and keeping up with the technology may also just look like a fresher when it comes to a particular service they don't have knowledge on. So let's say you've been working in the IT field and you are used to doing things a certain way, and AWS comes out with like a new service that does, let's say, last year they came out with the EC2 Instance Connect endpoint. Just because someone is working for 10 years does not mean that they're going to know how to use it. I mean, they may have certain knowledge that helps them, but you are always constantly learning. So that's why I'm saying don't focus so much on the fact that you're a fresher and don't focus so much on what other people are saying. Other people's experience will be different from your experience, you know? So
Yeah, so
the best way I would say is hire like a good resume writer that can help you prepare your resume and tailor it in a way that attracts other recruiters to be able to look at it. And once you get the interview opportunity, is really up to you at that point once you get in the interview. So at that point, you'll be relying on your skill sets. You
yeah,
understand what I mean?
yeah. So I understand that, but when I look at all the job they are posting or leaking or other platform, but
Mhm.
I know that it's hard to get in the job as a fresher. It's very hard, but you can have that chance also. So if you want to make your resume as a fresher, that means you have no work in any company, right? So how do you make that resume to be
Mhm.
attractive?
Yeah.
Like what? Yes.
So that I would have to, that's what I'm saying, a good resume writer and a good, when I did get a job as a beginner, right? I hired someone, I even had to do it a couple of times. So I had someone that was able to create my resume for me in a way where uh, the projects that I did appeared as my skill set, right?
Mm.
Then with that, I had the opportunity to present one of the projects I worked on during the interview, and that was how I got the job. So I'm still saying that It just depends on the company. I mean, there are certain people that have more years experience that have, like, one of my cousin has been applying for how long now, and he's saying he hasn't found something. So it just depends on what you are looking for, right? And part of it too is now there's not there's still remote jobs, but a lot of the jobs now are requiring you to come to the office. So when we are applying, we filtering out all the ones that are requiring you to come to the office and only looking for the remote work. Because if you are looking for the remote ones, it would be a little bit, the competition on those type of jobs will be much higher than when, let's say, during the COVID, where almost every job was remote. So to tailor your resume in a good way that is attractive, that gets you to the interview, that you would have to hire someone that's like a resume writer to help you do that. And if you need help on that, you and I can talk privately, and I would give you some guide on people you can use.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. All right. We're pretty much at time. I want us to work on a Python project, right? And we're pretty much at time today, so we can't really work on it. But let me show you guys what, if you want to work on the Python project with me, right? You have to make sure you install Python on your computer and pretty much set up your computer the way you are supposed to set it up. So that way, when we start, we can start next week and we can just go into writing our Python code and working on certain things that we want to work on. I already have Python and other stuff installed on my computer, so I don't want to delete it and have to reinstall it. So I'll give you guys where you can find the information on how to prepare your computer and install Python on it to get started. Then next week, when we have time, we can work on it. So when you are using Python to automate things in AWS, we usually use Boto 3. So if you go to the Boto 3, type Boto 3 on Google, right? This is the documentation. It should pop up. Here, if you click on Quick Start, right under the Quick Start, you have the installation, right? They are telling you to use Boto 3. You first need to install these dependencies. So these are the dependencies you need to install. You have to install or update Python on your computer. Then you have to install Boto 3. So here they are giving you the command to install it. You just have to run this command. Then you need to install AWS CLI on your computer as well. So and here it walks you through what we've done with AWS CLI, configuring your user's access key. So these are the things you need to do to prepare to be able to run Python to automate things in AWS. So pending the time we meet next week, I want you guys to, if you want to follow along with the project, just work on this and install those dependencies. And also, there is a Python project in your account. Let me show you. So in your account here, you have the Python project. If you view that course, right, the first, so here from 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to here, right? From install Python all the way up to install extension is just showing you how to set up your computer. So for those of you that are in the program, you already I already have the videos there that is explaining exactly what I was just showing you in Boto 3 documentation, how to set those things up. So you can go through these examples to install Python, right? Install Boto 3, install AWS CLI, and run the AWS CLI to configure your user's access key. And we're going to need Visual Studio Code, so make sure Visual Studio Code is installed. So these are all the things you just need to watch for next week. If you are watching on YouTube, right, you can go to my channel here. And on my channel, if you click on playlist, I don't think I have that video. It's probably only available to the members, but on that playlist, you can see all the different playlists that I have here. It is this Lambda Python project, right? On here is the same thing. You'll see the instruction on how to install Python, install Boto 3, configure your user's credentials, and run the AWS configure and install Visual Studio Code. So it's basically the same steps that are listed in the documentation of the dependencies you need to install. So if you want to work on the project with me, you have to complete this part. So just install Boto 3 Python, configure your CLI for your user, and have Visual Studio Code ready. Then next week, we can just go straight into writing the code. Do you guys have any question? Okay. So that's what we'll work on. We'll start working on it on next week. So what I want to do is just show you guys how to use Python to automate things in AWS. It's going to be very simple. The main thing I'm trying to do is enlighten you just to see how things work. And you can pretty much take that knowledge and build on it. And for some of project idea you guys can work on is you guys are always talking about things like your NAT when you are working on your project, things like your NAT gateway, EC2 instance, RDS instance, right? You don't want to leave those things running because you get charged for those things. You can write a Python code that find those resources for you and would take specific actions on those resources. For example, let's say you are working on your project and that's not the one we will work on in this project, but I'm just giving you like things you can think about for future project. Let's say you are working on your project and you left your NAT gateway running or your RDS instance running, right? You can have a Python code that is written that we will add to a Lambda function that will run at a specific time of the day, that if it finds those resources that are running, it will either stop it for you based on if you want to stop it or terminate it for you. So those are, when I started learning about automating things in AWS with Python, I was doing small projects like that. And that is what I want to share with you. So the particular project we'll work on when we start this Python project, it will be, it's something I've actually seen at one of the projects that I worked on at work is, you know how for our security group, we should never leave a security group open to the world especially on port 22 that we use to SSH into our EC2 instance. So we'll write a Python code that scans all the security groups in our account and look for a security group that has SSH rule that is open to the world. If it finds that security group, we would also scan all the EC2 instances in our account, and we will look for the any EC2 instance that is using that security group. If there's an EC2 instance that's using that security group, we will terminate the EC2 instance, and we'll be able to do all that stuff with Python once we write it one time, and it can keep running. We can add it to a Lambda function that is triggered based on some type of event or that runs at a certain particular time. So that is a small mini project we'll work on. So yeah, I was hoping we'll start today, but since we have troubleshooting, which is good, that is first priority. I want to help you guys troubleshoot any issues you have. But then when there will be some days where you guys don't have any troubleshooting issue, then we can work on some mini projects. So that'll be for what we'll work on next week. Do you guys have any question?
Hello, Aziz. How's
Hello.
it going?
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. Yeah, so I just have an issue with accessing the links inside the assignment.
Okay, yeah, so that is the assignment 2, right? Or 3?
I think I think they all of them. But the one I'm working on right now is assignment 4.
The 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me, yeah, I know. So what happened is I used to have those assignment links in Slack, but somehow Slack has this thing where if you have the links for the file in there, because I'm using the free version for Slack, so after so many days, it goes away. So those links I just need to since add them to my Google Drive. So I'll send those links to you. So let's meet after class. I will show you how you can download all the resources you need. Then
Okay.
I think I'm just going to move all the links into my S3, into an S3 bucket, and I'll just make that available. That's the only way I can be sure that the links, nothing will happen to them moving forward. Because even when I uploaded the application code in Google Drive, they were complaining about it too. So, but I'll just
Okay.
move it to an S3 bucket and I'll share that link with you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Can you show us how we can get to this video
Okay.
on your channel?
Okay. So where in your membership library. So if you come to your membership library here, right, then these are all the projects in your account, right? They are all organized in that order. You should take it. It is the last one. Well, not the last one, but if you scroll down, it is after the Ansible project. If you select it, then you can come in it.
No, I mean today's video.
Today's video, so today's video, you would on YouTube, you click view my channel here, right? You come to playlist. It is this one, this Master AWS DevOps weekly mentorship, right? If you select that one, you can see all the past videos we've done, all the past session. And if I scroll down here, you can see the current one now is already there.
All right, thanks.
No problem. All right. Does anyone else have any question? Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. I'll see you guys, some of you during the week and some of you next week. But I'll try to start that Python project next week. Because I just want you guys to work on some mini projects that enlightens you on different things and how to do different things in AWS. And that is pretty much what I'm looking for. I don't expect you to be an expert, but I just expect you to understand how to solve problems. I'm telling you, that is one of the biggest skill you would need as a cloud engineer, because even when they assign something to us at work, they don't expect you to know it. If you know it, fine. If you don't know it, that is fine as well. But what they expect you to be able to do is figure it out and get it done in the time they've allocated for you to get it done. So it is fine if you don't know what they've assigned to you. That is expected. But what is also expected from you is that you are resourceful, you do the research, and you are able to complete the task that is assigned to you in the time that was allocated to complete it. And that is the main thing I'm trying to get you, that is where I want you to be by the time you are done doing all your projects. So which is why I always emphasize it is not just about completing the project. It is more about understanding the concepts behind certain things you are doing in the project and how you can use those concepts to complete other tasks. So for example, let's say you understand the concept of how to create an IAM user that has programmatic access, right? And you also understand how to configure that IAM user's credentials to be able to create resources in your AWS account, right? It's the same thing. From Terraform, when we use Terraform, it's the same thing. Now that we are about to use Python, it is the same thing. You understand? Which is why I'm always focusing on the concepts. Once you configure a user's credentials, right? Any type of project you are trying to work on that requires you to be able to do something from your computer, do something in AWS by running a command on your computer. The same way you configure the credentials for Terraform is the same way it works for Python or any other CLI you are trying to use to do things in AWS. So that is why I'm always focusing on the concepts. So that's the point of this project, just to enlighten you. If you can automate something that can scan your account, look for certain things, and take specific actions on those things, you can use it to do other things in your account too. So that's the main goal for this project. So I'll see you guys next week. We'll start. And in the meantime, throughout the week, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you. Bye.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you, Aziz.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.